please feel free to go ahead and talk in the chat while I'm pulling up some stuff here. Yeah, I was trying to be on time, and I was like, oh, I have 30 minutes left, and I put on, like, something, and then I lost all track of time because YouTube autoplay. It got me pretty bad there. So now I'm trying to pull up all my stuff here and trying to put them in order. Because I have everything here, just nothing is in order, I'm afraid. So let's see here. We want... Let's see here. We don't need that yet. Okay. Okay, so first thing is first, let's talk about World War I here. Let me pull up my documentation regarding World War I. I did not set up the source for this yet. Give me 1 second. This is my first time doing this one, so it's just a lot of fun dealing with all this. All right. See here. Can I add each? I have to do each one individually. That's annoying. Okay. Very annoying. So give me 1 second here, because we actually have to start in when the heck did he make this thing? I think 1903 or 1907's here. Yeah, we're gonna go all the way back to 1903 here. That's gonna be a thing. Let me just set up the scene here. I did not set up the scene prior, which is my own fault for not doing it. Actually, what I'm probably gonna do, because I cannot stand this nonsense, is just I'm just gonna add the web source here. Why is the background not working? Or the BGM's not working? There we go. That's better. I do have like spooky BGM that I'll probably use at some point in time whenever I get a chance to actually use it, but not today. Not today, chat. Not today. Okay. And swap over. All right, there we go. So this all actually starts with Julius Gustav Neubronner. He was a German apothecary, inventor, a company founder, and a pioneer of amateur photography and film. He was of a dynasty of apothecaries in the Kronenberg im Taunus. I don't know. Neubronner was a court apothecary for Kaiser Friedrich. He invented the pigeon photographer, which pigeon photography is probably for its aerial photography. He was one of the first film amateurs in Germany and founded a factory for adhesive tapes. After his death, the company was directed... who cares about his death? No offense. Who cares about his death? But this man dealt with pharmacy stuff, and in his free time, he did amateur film. And because he wanted to take lots of really amazing shots from the sky, he invented himself a small camera made of aluminum that would allow him to go and take aerial photographs. Now, why does this all matter? Well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and just swap over to a quick YouTube video. We'll go over that really fast. So... realizing you guys can't hear this, even though I can. Give me 1 second. Okay, give me 1 second here. Why is this not going out to you guys? How do I do that? Do I do this? Will that work? Let's see here.
What would you do if you wanted to record aerial spy footage, but it was 1907 and drones hadn't been invented yet? This is exactly the problem that German apothecary Julian Neubronner decided to solve. His solution? Strapping cameras to pigeons.
Like I said, this man wanted to take just aerial photos and make some aerial photography and aerial filmography. And his idea was, you know what? I love pigeons. I can go ahead and just attach little cameras of pigeons. And you're going to say to me, Katsudon, that doesn't mean that the government's using pigeons for anything. Just watch.
His cameras were made from aluminium to try and keep the weight down, with most weighing between 30 and 75 grams. For reference, an average flying pigeon weighs somewhere between 300 and 500 grams.
That is a very light camera, and the fact that they still worked at such a light amount is incredible. And I would prefer this a little more if it was put into, I guess, you know, American units, but I'll deal with the dirty European units because it is Germany, so...
The cameras were attached with a harness, and sometimes the same birds were also trained to carry messages. Initially, the German military was interested in the technology and began using Neubronner's pigeons during World War I. But aviation technology advanced so quickly during the war that the project was eventually dropped. Pigeon messengers were extensively used during World War II, and it has been reported that both the German and French militaries began using pigeons for reconnaissance.
So this was done, I think World War I, World War II, they used pigeons for recon purposes. It was not as widely accepted as basic recon purposes of airplanes, because airplane tech was, at the time, moving at an incredible speed for World War II. World War I was probably used more often, but they used it in a way you wouldn't believe, because pigeons won't fly to where you want them to go, they'll always fly home. That's where they go. That's where pigeons go. So this is how they got around it.
This time, dogs were trained to carry the birds behind enemy lines and release them. The pigeons would then fly back to their home loft, photographing the enemy along the way. After the war, American researchers began developing even smaller cameras for the birds.
Did you hear that? After the war, even though the war is over, America said we can get even tinier cameras for our birds, even smaller cameras for the birds.
But not much is known about these models. And of course they were eventually replaced by modern drones and spy planes. Did you know the humble pigeon had such an interesting history, acting not only as wartime messengers, but also as covert spies? Leave your thoughts in the comments.
So that was a video by Adam Archer Pigeons. Go ahead and check out his stuff if you want on YouTube. Go ahead and do that. But again, this was a weird little thing that you found out from from just looking up research. A guy who just wanted to do just fun filmography type stuff ended up causing an entire reconnaissance method for governments to use. One of which was used by the US government, I want to say at least until the 80s. I could not tell you, honestly. People will sit here and tell me, no, it was replaced with satellite and spy plane tech, and maybe it was. But what we see from the CIA and the Smithsonian will prove otherwise regarding that. So we're going to go ahead and just close those off. Those are both done. All right, so this is not what I want. So this was the Avian program. And this was a program that was still to this day being used, because the document was created in September 6, 2019, and release date was September 12, 2019. Publication date was released October 7th, 1975. So they kept this under wraps for, what's that, 30, 40, 44 years. 44 years they absolutely refused to even talk about this. But because of the Freedom of Information Act, the CIA has to go and produce all these lovely little documents for us to go and check out. All right, but this was the ordinance to demonstrate a scenario to the Washington area that would closely parallel the field situation using allotted ORD funds. We understand the ORD could use funds remaining calendar year 1975 at 2 contractors for basic research on homing pigeons. Commit to meet the requirements. The Southeast Division, SC Division, will fund the actual operation using ORD furnished equipment. Understand that any additional work on the bird camera would be funded by ORD and be an insignificant amount. So in 1975, so the war with Germany actually ended a while back, but and we had our own programs regarding the avian spy camera. But even in 1975, we were working on making even smaller, more accurate cameras for the spy camera. And why? Well, 1975 was still peak Cold War, very much peak Cold War. So a lot of this would have to do with the fact that, much like in World War II, you'd send dogs over with little harnesses to send the birds out, and the birds would fly off, take pictures, and fly home. That's where you would get all of that. But let's see what the CIA has to go and say. This is the Central Intelligence Agency official, verified YouTube channel. And they have a minute and a half conversation about this. Let's see what they have to say about this.
The pigeon camera is one of our older artifacts, where parts of the mission are actually still classified. But what I can tell you a little about is why we chose this animal and how it was deployed. The CIA can learn a lot from reconnaissance photography, and with planes like the U-2 and the A-12 and satellites like Corona in the sky, the CIA had a window into a whole new world of intelligence. But unfortunately, those planes are taking photographs from incredible heights. So if we wanted to get into a target area with more detail, the CIA was going to have to get creative and return to the animal kingdom again.
Now, I heard that little blip, that little cut in this. I'm not sure if anyone else heard that. So I'm sure she said something she wasn't supposed to say right there, and they had to cut that out. I'm almost certain about that because oh my, that was a weird little audio blip right there. That was something strange. That could mean something. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get back into this.
CIA's Office of Research and Development created a camera small and light enough to be carried by a pigeon. With the camera attached to its breast, the pigeon would fly over a target area on its return home. With the pigeon being a common species, it was able to conceal itself as an intelligence collection platform among thousands of other birds. Pigeon imagery is taken from hundreds of feet above the target, whereas planes like the A-12 and the U-2 were taking photographs from tens of thousands of feet, and satellites like Corona were miles above the target. The pigeon camera allowed the CIA to have a much more detailed view of what was going on in an area. The camera could begin taking pictures immediately upon release, or it could have a preset delay. The camera...
So, again, I'm not sure if we're still using this kind of tech. I don't know. how the camera systems work on a lot of the planes and the satellite stuff. I've never used anything that sophisticated in my own works, so I'm not quite sure how the lenses would work from that great of a height. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's not. You're also dealing with really fast-moving objects, and to get more detailed information, I assume that the Pigeon would probably work best, at least in the 70s and 80s, possibly even into the 90s. But by the 2000s, we began making huge just steps in camera technology that was given just to the consumer base. So you had a large rise of the digital camera, and the digital cameras became more and more sophisticated to the point of even using basic AI to make changes within the photograph. All right, so people can sit there and go, "Oh, AI bad, AI bad." Like, yeah, AI bad, sure, but AI is also putting in parts of imagery. Now, does the AI know everything? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. AI does not know everything. AI might make a mistake. So, are they still using these little bird cameras to double check their own information? Possibly.
Took a series of images at a set interval, and there was actually a small battery-operated motor that advanced the film and cocked the shutter.
That is official documentation from the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America. This is widely available information given to you on the CIA's public YouTube channel. Okay, so this is me giving you guys information right here. You can call me a liar all you want, but there it is. It's right there for all you go to check out on your own. It's right there. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Let's see here. That was the avian program. So the CIA has a long history of using animals for espionage purposes. Because generally speaking, most humans will ignore an animal. Most humans ignore animals. It's what we do. It is what we do. Unless the animal looks strange, unless the animal's got an uncanny valley portion to it, we don't check it out. You know, now are there uncanny valley animals out there? There are stories about things. There is, of course, the 1907 report on the Jersey Devil that was just released in the last year by the Philadelphia Police Department. I don't know why I had to wait over 100 years for that, but I'm gonna look over that at some point in time. But yeah, so possibly. So the CIA says outwardly like, a buzzing bee, a fish swimming in a lake, a bird landing in a nearby tree. These everyday occurrences have fueled the imaginations of agency officers for decades. If you think about it, animals can go into places that humans can't, and they often go unnoticed by the people around them. They make perfect natural spies. Perfect natural spies. Ah, man. And so they published this in honor of Earth Day. Earth Day. I want to take a closer look at some of the ways our furry, feathered, and skilled friends have affected intel operations, innovations, and tradecraft over the years. So they go over the spy pigeons. This was the CIA's Cold War program. The pigeons were a huge deal during the Cold War. And this is an ongoing thing that happened throughout everything. So the CIA's called this their feather-brained scheme. The CIA sent out pigeons with secret cameras to gather intel during the Cold War. The CIA's Office of Research and Development created a camera so tiny and lightweight that a pigeon could carry it. See, this is the part I don't get. So, like, pigeons could already carry lightweight cameras. The Germans and the French already had this. They probably could have gotten a lot of this tech from France, but they created their own tech just to have it. I don't know, maybe to have a better camera, maybe along those lines. I don't really know. That could be the reason why. I'm assuming it's because of that. The camera was strapped to the bird's chest with a little harness, and the bird would be released over a secret area in a foreign country that we wanted to know more about. The camera would snap pictures as the bird flew back home to us. And why pigeons? Well, they were perfect because they are such common birds. Who would ever think of a pigeon was actually a secret spy bird taking photographs for the CIA? The pigeon was able to conceal itself as an intelligence collection platform among thousands of other birds. Pigeons are one of the most common species of birds out there. is one of the most common that I've ever seen. I've traveled around the world. There are always pigeons, no matter where I am. In Asia, in Europe, in South America, in North America, in Africa, I have always found pigeons around. Pigeons and seagulls. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. The big difference between pigeons and seagulls is a pigeon will always fly back home. Once it has established its home, it always will end up back there eventually. Pigeon imagery was taken from hundreds of feet above the target, whereas planes like the A-12 Oxcart and the U-2 took photographs from tens of thousands of feet, and reconnaissance satellites like Corona were miles above the target. Pigeons with camera allowed us to have a much more detailed view of what was going on in a specific area. Although parts of the Pigeon program are still classified, you can read more about it here, and this is the Animal Partners CIA FOIA documentation, which you can see right here. There's lots of different little animal things. There was the dolphin thing that people knew about, where we were strapping bombs to dolphins. We were strapping bombs to dolphins and having them deliver bombs. Oh, man. The bird camera thing, frequency backstopping, the Takana. Here we go. The bird camera development, which we've, I think, what did we do? We did support and bird camera program. Let's go ahead and start with this one. So this is from the Director of Research and Development, the Chief Operations Technology Division of the ORD. From NPIC Support and Bird Camera Program. This is a technical collection team, or TACA, has been formed to demonstrate the operational utility of avian asset, an avian asset being pigeons with cameras. As a part of this effort, a new bird camera has been designed, which weighs less than the old one, which uses a 60mm film with motion compensation instead of 9mm size. So this was, so they developed the new cameras because they were better film. It had an ability to deal with the birds' constant flapping, any jostling, any sudden movements. Testing of this camera will continue through June of this year, at which time the final demonstration is scheduled. This was 25th of March, 1976. 1976. All right, so by the end of that year, they were like, we will test this, and if it's good, we're good. And it was lots of things. Reliable slicing of 70mm film, 3400, 3414. The required 60mm format was difficult, though the OTS slicing machine was used. The personnel involved were not familiar with its use. That is an issue. You should always have people who are used to your stuff there. A lack of facility for obtaining good quality enlargements of the negative, and a lack of familiarity with available films which can provide good resolution at low light levels. So their number one issue was not with the birds themselves, but with their own tech and not having a good knowledge on the technology regarding cameras at the time in film. CIA very often, I peeked hard there. The CIA very often has issues, not with their ideas, but with the fact that their ideas, while can be done, they don't know the tech involved to go and make it happen. So you end up with this weird little nuance right there. Okay, the NPIC support and bird camera, low light level capability similar to those now being used on, the mini camera programming. I don't know if they were trying to block out that or something else, but there's something here that's been completely removed. Discussions were also held with blank. I want to know who blank is, but they were the PSB, ISD, and PSG. I don't know what those terms mean. I want to know who you are. These people have been most helpful in developing several rolls of film and providing several good quality photo enlargements. Excuse me, a little tired. Good quality and photo enlargements which have been extremely beneficial in evaluating the capability of this system. That is. So we have an unknown person developing the low light capability of the film. About all of this. All right. So all of this is just for film. It has nothing to even do with the actual camera itself. It's just for the film. Did I lose? I lost my place. Let me adjust. Okay. What is radio frequency backstopping? I don't know. Okay, so final camera design has been completed and tested. This was the 12th of May 1970. So this was what, 3 days after the last document that we went over. The final camera design has been completed and tested. This camera number 3, has undergone extensive ground tests, including vibration. It was flown 6 times during the Oklahoma tests listed in Table 1. This camera, which uses the Minox lens, has a weight of 35 grams, including timer, film, and batteries. Total flight weight, including harness, 39.5 grams, which is incredibly light when you think about the fact that a pigeon itself is only 300 grams. So this is a little more than a tenth of the weight of your average pigeon. Primary feature of this design is a focal plane flattener, which permits accurate positioning of the film in the focal plane and a reduction in motor torque and probability of jamming. Furthermore, ultra-thin base film works well in this design so that more pictures, 200 black and white, 140 color per roll, are possible. The shutter speed has been shortened to 1/1400th of a second. This was originally under secret, and don't even get the signature of who approved it under secret. That is interesting as heck. All right. So we're gonna get 5 cameras originally for the initial production to be set up by June. So within 2 months, they're gonna have 5 more of these set up, and an additional 5 within 2 weeks after that same June. And 2 of the old camera designs will be ready for demonstrational use. A meeting was held with someone to discuss various films and processing techniques. It's probably the same guy from the last one. Also at meetings were blank and blank of the same division. I love the fact we just have unknown persons secretly doing stuff. What does it matter? This has already been declassified. I don't know why these people are not in here. The flight films and data sheets were left with them for review. Subsequently, a blank at APSD called, and a second meeting was held to discuss possible approaches for selecting films and approaching processing techniques for both color and black and white. Additional meeting has been scheduled between NPIC and Kodak to get Kodak's recommendation. We were going to Kodak because they were the top in cameras at the time, back in the 70s. Kodak film, for recommendations on film and what to do there. At this time, it is agreed that a series of tests will be conducted with the new camera and several film selections in order to determine the proper film and processing technique. Recommendations will also be made regarding trade-offs between shutter speed, and film resolution. These film tests and/or recommendations will be integrated into the camera tests in early June, verified by flight tests in the later part of June. So even by the end of June, they're saying that they have the camera already finished. Everything's already set. They're just getting the film set up at this point. The only thing they're missing is the film. The camera works fine. The pigeons are great. Everything else is good. They only need the film. They only need the film. The blank lens, I'm pretty sure that has already been declassified as the micron lens, but it could be something else entirely. It has been assembled and tested in comparison with the number 3 design. Both lens systems have field flatteners. The blank lens is an f2.5 lens, which has a stop faster, has about the same resolution in the center, and has a slightly better resolution at the edge of the field of vision. Its major advantage is the faster stop, which would allow for faster shutter speed or resolution. As time permits, a camera will be designed for this lens, and ground tests will be conducted to verify performance. Table 2 shows the schedule for camera manufacturing. This is the table right here. So this is the overall timeline. I like the fact that all of these tests, even though we know that they happened, are completely blanked out. But the 2 they have in Oklahoma are right here. Construction of the camera was completed very early on. Ground tests were set. Film selections were the biggest problem at the time. It continued to be an ongoing problem until July. And this was the director of research to the Takana program. Let's see here. ABC flight behavior with search at, this was for the 7th of May, which is a little bit after the completion of the other thing in the testing beginning. Such time of ABC behavior, impact of major location on change behavior. The following procedure for your consideration per our discussion of 12th of May. What was the discussion on the 12th of May? Why? I want to know. Continue the present training in Oklahoma of the ABC flight behavior, including a clandestine release at A and the search behavior at A for B until its behavioral set is demonstratable on site in Oklahoma. So they were trying to get the birds to, once released in an area, stay in that area for a certain amount of time before heading over to C, which would be considered home. That wants a collateral effort to determine the proper training procedure and associated problems for clandestine acclimation. Above, some suggestions for the accomplishment of this are: 1. Move 10 to 12 additional birds from California to Oklahoma for collateral training. Move 10 to 12 birds from California to North Carolina for acclimatization at the blank. Move 4 to 6 birds from Oklahoma to California blank for acclimatization, thereby blank personnel. I will deliver a written statement of definition of clandestine acclimatization if this is required. So they are moving birds around to see if they can get them to do certain things and then head back to their original places, I'm assuming. How long that would probably take over time. Please note that I fully realize that the above efforts have not been put together and as such do not serve as definitive tests. However, I believe that latter efforts will allow full scenario testing and that the suggested procedure best utilizes available resources. So again, we have ourselves all this weird information regarding what's going on there. Let me pull up. That's not what I want. We'll get to the Aqualine in a second. Let me pull up. Let's see here. I'm looking for the Smithsonian, I believe. I don't see it here. Weird. I thought I had saved it. There you go. So the Smithsonian of National Air and Space Museum. This is something that's actually really available. You can go check out yourself. If you're ever in the DC area, go check out the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. It's really cool. Nice to check out. But this is something right here we can go ahead and check out really fast.
A closer look at something.
Marty, this is Rob Beyer. He's in charge of the CIA Museum.
Rob, how can we get a closer look at something without getting people closer to it?
So the great thing about our Directorate of Science and Technology is that they have turned to the world of nature in order to find ways in which to.
So this is another thing that they did. They made robot fish for spying purposes. Because making robot fish is much easier than making robot birds. It just is.
Get and collect that information in very unique ways. Behind me, you see quite a few different ways they've done that over the years. Putting a camera on a pigeon, using robofish to collect water samples, or in one case, using a rat, yes, there's a rat in there, as a dead drop.
So these are all little things that were done by the CIA to keep things, to gather information or to pass on information. The rat is a common thing. You would drop off a dead rat in a certain area, and a asset would know to go to a certain drop-off point to pick up something, or they know it's time to bug out. Something along those lines. It was a symbol type thing.
That's something that a case officer uses to communicate with his agent or her agent in the field to pass information back and forth. because a case officer and an agent don't want to be seen in the same place together, or that agent might have a short lifespan.
That right there is just very sketchy. All right, that is just like, if you were actually going to do this, what I would do is I would probably set up a dead drop in a library, and then I'd move a book from one stack to a different stack with like a hidden note somewhere inside of it or behind the thing. I'd choose a very uncommon book, but yeah, that's all I would do there.
What about drones? Do you all use drones in your line of work?
In the 70s, they were experimenting with a very interesting way of trying to get audio information from different places.
They were doing a lot more than that in the 70s. In the 70s, they were trying to figure out how to connect a nuclear bomb to a slowly moving drone of some kind to more or less deliver a slowly moving nuke. Radar is very, very powerful. Radar can still see when a missile is coming. Radar only it has like a weird little thing where it at a certain height it doesn't pick up anything. It's just the way it is. So if you had a nuclear weapon that was shaped like a bird, it would do something. But I'll let them get into this really fast, and then we'll talk about the hidden nuke drone thing that was made.
And so they came up with the idea for something called the insectothopter. And the insectothopter was a small little micro drone, basically using a bug to bug someone else.
Wow. So it's not just collecting photographs like we do with our personal drones. There's other information you can collect with a drone.
You can use the full spectrum of video, audio. There's so much information that one can gather. And so in this instance with the insectothopter, that was just audio that they were trying to gather.
Awesome. This is great information. We need to get this back to our junior agents of STEM.
Okay, let's.
That was hidden in plain sight by the verified Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Everything I bring you can be researched, put together, so you can go look at them yourselves. These are all things. These are real things. These are real things, guys. All right. So when you sit there and you go, "It's not real," you're full of crap. I am bringing you the details. I'm bringing it to you. You can just deal with it. All right. Let's see here. I don't need most of these anymore, so I can just get rid of that. So that's the Takana program. The bird camera we've already gone over. The Aqualine. So, the Aqualine was a weird little thing. This was, let me see, do we have we do. Okay, we do. We have the Aqualine, the introductory Project Aqualine briefing. Let's start with the Project Aqualine briefing. So the top secret development, the Aqualine debriefing, approved for release back in 2019 of 11/05. Excuse me. So November of the last couple of years, 5 years ago. Where is the date on this? When was this stuff done? Oh, it's top secret, so we don't get any dates, do we? All right, so let's just go over it. So this is a memorandum pertaining to an operation known as Aqualine. A number of people holding Aqualine access approvals will be held to an absolute minimum, which is why you have a top secret clearance right here. Even the people who were on this were vetted very heavily. Aqualine is restrictive access involving a small power glider capable of flying thousands of miles and placing devices, interrogating previously in place devices, and performing special reconnaissance and collection missions. It will present bird-like radar, acoustic and visual signatures designed to blend with the indigenous signal environment, possessing a range in excess of blank. So I don't even know how many miles this thing can go. It'll be capable in its advanced form of hovering over targets for as long as 120 days. So I'm pretty sure that if any radar saw just a random bird staying in one spot for 120 days, we would probably be aware of it. So the CIA is one of the core benefactors of this. The CIA is developing a small bird-like surreptitious vehicle was sufficiently small, acoustic, visible, and radar cross-section to permit it to operate in the natural physical signal environment of living birds. So, are birds real? Yes. Are birds tiny drones that the CIA are also flying? Possibly. It's a possibility. Maybe. Details of initial, interim, or final embodiments of the vehicle design when presented or observed in such a manner as to suggest the operational characteristics or purpose of the device. And details of any subsystems of the vehicle when presented or observed in such a manner as to suggest an association with or capability peculiar to the Aquiline mission. So, all details are completely under scrutiny. Aquiline information will include mission analysis data such as the location and nature of threat radar, as well as visual or acoustic sensors. So this thing was made mostly to go in and check out how our enemies or even allies set up their defenses. Terrain, target information, it's incredible. Clearances for comment and these will end products will therefore be prerequisites for access to Aquiline information. The particular restrictions imposed by persons holding these clearances, which include the possibility of prosecution by the U.S. government, may also apply to violations concerning. I'm going to remove the BGM. It's probably not the best BGM right now. Aquiline access is granted only by the CIA. Determination that an individual possesses a need to know for access to Aquiline information will be made by the director of the ORD. Participants who have a question concerning an individual's status may verify the existence of his access prior to any discussions of this sensitive information. And they had a full-on brochure. I always find it funny that, like, even when I was working for the government, that you would have lots of these little brochures, and it's just like, this is secret information. I'm going, you gave me a freaking catalog here, buddy. Why would you give me a fancy tri-folded brochure here for this incredibly secret information? Even in government situations, we all fall to the dreaded brochure. Aquiline, when used in this context as a covert intelligence collection operation of the highest sensitivity, it has its objective the collection of electronic and photographic intelligence through the use of small bird-like unmanned powered gliders. Project Aquiline operates under the sponsorship and direction of the Central Intelligence Agency. This is a full CIA project. It does not under any other DoD project. It is not DARPA. It is not any of those things. This is a full Aquiline project. Access to project-sensitive information is restricted to an absolute minimum. Aquiline clearances are granted by the CIA. CIA was the only person who would allow clearance for this. So, if you were not part of the CIA or above the CIA's certain threshold, you did not have clearance to this. Aquiline clearance status of an individual must be verified prior to any discussions relating to the program. Master index of all Aquiline clearances is maintained at Aquiline headquarters. I don't even know where Aquiline headquarters is. Prior to visiting, participating in industrial firms or operational locations on Aquiline business, the clearance status of the visitor must be verified to the installation through Aquiline headquarters. So even before you can even check out anything, it must be verified by the CIA first. There are 3 categories of Aquiline briefing. The most comprehensive is that which is contained in this brochure. The lower category briefings are provided to personnel of industrial suppliers who have no need to know of Central Intelligence Agency sponsorship or participation. So even the people who... So, this is something that people very often say, like, how could you work for whatever company? How could you work for this and that? Very often, when you're working for a government contract, they don't tell you who the government contract is for. And you are better off in everything regarding what you do as government workers to never, ever, ever, ever look into that. Just, you doing your job, government's paying for it, you call it a day. If you start getting nosy, you will be fired and blacklisted immediately. And any agency, because government contracts are free money. They're free money. All right, you see the way our government wastes money. They spent $7 million on magic research in the last year. I'm not joking on that. We'll go over the tax stuff. Some probably in a couple weeks. There's so much weird crap. I have to sit down and look at it all. But yeah, so like it's one of those things. So no need to know. They are briefed only to the extent necessary to make possible their maximum contribution to the project effort, which is generally if you are delivering supplies, you are just there to deliver supplies. That's it. That's all you're there for. If you're building a microchip, you're just building that microchip. You don't know what for and why. All Aqualine sensitive information must be protected, and particularly the role of the Central Intelligence Agency in Aqualine. The CIA wanted no one to know they were building this. They wanted no one to know. The Central Intelligence Agency is developing a small bird-like surreptitious vehicle with sufficiently small acoustic, and so they wanted no one to know this thing was even being built. When was this document made? That's what I want to know. Do we have dates? We got the plan here. The general guidelines upon acceptance of the security plan on Project Aqualine will be known by the classified secret operational designation recharter with an OSA. So there we go. So even Project Aqualine, it wasn't even the main name. It was only the name given to the people within the know. Everyone else was only given recharter. It's not that uncommon. The unclassified nickname will be Project 274. The state-of-art achievements and mission purpose of Project Recharter will be controlled by the top secret level in accordance with the site-sensitive program concepts based on the traditional must-know philosophy practiced by the OSA. The OSA is really big on this, all right? You know, I think it's the Office of Security something. But as appropriate, the above designators will be used in all verbal and written correspondence to Area 51. Area 51. Area 51. They were doing this stuff out of Area 51. Jeez. So documents correspond to all communications documents regarding Project Recharter activities will be marked, classified, and controlled at this appropriate level. When were these freaking done? Of course, access to Area 51 will be controlled from project headquarters, so the OSA. Project individuals from CIA, other government agencies, or project-related industry will be certified for access to Area 51 only after establishment of clearability and with sufficient notice and biographical data to ensure verification of identity and clearability particulars. They were so very afraid of anyone finding out this that they would look up your entire freaking information and then they'd have you sit there and confirm. Failure to transmit required notice will result in denial of access. So the clearability standards for Area 51 access require at least a Phase 2 investigation, which includes a 15-year background investigation and NACS. NACs, excuse me. I keep seeing that S, I keep going S. Like, nope. Personnel to be used in missions and or deployment overseas activities will be processed at the Phase 3 level. Okay, so they had some personnel that were to be used in missions, and they were even higher level security. West Coast Security Office of Special Activities will act for West Coast facilities. That is a point of contact for access to Area 51 after initial certification clearability by project headquarters. So Project Recharter or Project Aqualine were assigned to work at Area 51 will comply with the rules, regulations detailed in Attachment A. Attachment A represents an approved policy, blah, 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 blah. These are all just the briefings on the things the project personnel are allowed to do. Their security clearances, their security briefings, which I don't think do we get these here? I don't think I have Attachment A. Okay, a Phase 1 approval is required for an individual who is engaging in semi-sensitive fabrication activities, but who does not work in nor require access to closed project area. So you had Phase 1 people who, like I said, these are people who are delivering things, they're making the microchips, they're not a portion of, they're not seeing the final product. All right, they know just enough to get the work done. And they are not given access to the overall thing. And if someone lets something slip, it's a huge deal. Phase 2 is required for an individual who may be told, assuming the need to know exists, the general purpose of the system, equipment, or system configuration, performance characteristics, identification of other contractors, suppliers and vendors, test site locations, and knowledge of equipment or subsystem capabilities. In general, this individual will be told information, requirements, and parameters which reflect in advance in the state of the art or by the nature of the function he performs, will have access to areas, material, or information from which he might be able to deduce such knowledge. These are the people who have access to Area 51 themselves and access to the actual product. They might not be given all the information, but they're given just enough information to let them know that this is a huge deal. In Phase 3, this is the largest portion. A Phase 3 approval is required and will be granted only for those individuals who require official confirmation of the true identity of project headquarters, personnel who must know broad mission objectives, operational information, success or failure of missions, future planning, or relationship to other classified programs normally required a Phase 3 approval. Likewise, operational mission details of the system will only be released to those who have access, who have a Phase 3 access approval. Phase 3 approvals will not be granted as a matter of courtesy, deference, or convenience either within government or industry, and all requests for talking too much. I'm going to probably move this on to the video as soon as I get to the end of this. Also need more water. I'm out of water. Either within government or industry, and all requests for approval at this level must be adequately justified. Access to Area 51 permitted, and to oversee operating locations. So, while Area 51 is of course one of our worst kept secrets, or our best kept secret, there are of course operational places that no one knows about. There are things that no one, like, it seems like it's just a regular old office in wherever, and then people freak out. So like, you have to be careful of these things. So the security policy was on a must-know basis, which I understand very calmly. It's you don't know anything about this project unless you must know about it, and you only must know about it if it will affect mission-critical systems. That's kind of it. Staff security officer directly responsive to project headquarters. Security staff will be available to assist the program manager in the project recharter area throughout all flight testing, training, and support activities. Appropriate liaison and coordination with the base commander will be accomplished to ensure the integrity of Project Recharter and the other compartmented activities utilizing Area 51. The senior security official will be responsible for all personnel, physical and project matters of a security nature carried out at that facility. As requirements increase, security manpower must be augmented to ensure project coverage. Travel to Area 51 will be coordinated in advance to facilitate access and may be arranged by service or approved air shuttle services. So yeah, they have their own special way of getting in. Do they give me any more information that actually matters? No, this is all just liaison stuff. Central security support. I don't really want it. Like, this doesn't really matter that much. You just have to know that this was a huge deal. They had a full-on security detail regarding it. I'm going to find the video now regarding Project Aqualine and get myself a little bit of a drink while we go over that. So just bear with me for a second while I go ahead and I find that. What did you do? Why did you do that? Stop that. Went to go and click on something and that stupid ad got in my way. Let's see here.
The CIA.
So this is the CIA drone nuclear spy bird, 1970s Project Aqualine by Geeksvana. He's a big drone guy. So go ahead and check this out. It's about a 3-minute long video. I'm gonna get a drink really fast. When I get back, I'll jump on things. But I'm going to just grab a drink, and you can go ahead and watch this while I grab my drink real fast.
They planned a nuclear-powered drone which would mimic the flight of a bird to carry out top-secret missions above Russia and China. This isn't the plot to a Netflix or Amazon original. It even includes Area 51. Hey everyone, my name is Sean and welcome to Geeks Varna. As regular viewers will know, we bring you a mix of content focused on drones and tech. This includes the latest drone news, drone and tech how-to videos, and even some fun live streams. To get more like this, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get your drone news first. So let's take a look at Project Aquiline, which was a drone project being proposed and developed by the CIA in the 1970s. The core mission was to produce a drone aircraft which could fly long distances, carrying out secret missions in the skies above Russia and China, while somehow blending in and remaining unnoticed. The CIA has recently declassified a raft of documentation about the project from the early 1970s, which reveals, amongst other things, plans to fit nuclear propulsion to the drone. And
like I said before, we are looking to have a small nuclear device attached onto this drone. The fact that the CIA was working on nuclear propulsion at the time was also kind of insane, but, you know, who cares? Fallout's a thing. Also, I have water now, so I feel much better. So much better now. I was getting really dry, all that talking, driving up the wall.
And have it based from Groom Lake in Nevada desert. That's right, the renowned Area 51. Why was this project even considered? The project has its roots in the 1960s, where events such as the shooting down of a U-2 spy plane over the Soviet Union and the political fallout surrounding pilot Gary Power's incarceration made the continuation of manned spy flights to be less desirable. So, a focus was placed on gaining the information without the risk to life or political drama.
So Project Aquiline was made around the same time that we were also perfecting our Pigeon project as well. So knowing the CIA, they probably got both projects working at the same time and then just probably used both depending upon how they wanted to do it. Because getting birds or pigeons with the necessary training and stuff into the area, again, it would probably work on border areas. It would not work on like areas that are strictly surrounded, unable to access. China would be a good barometer on that. I don't think there'd be a lot of ways to get that information in and out of China in any way, shape, or form, but the Aquiline might be able to go and do so.
The solution? A drone which could soar majestically in Russian skies, all the time looking like a simple bird. From a distance, the model was indistinguishable from an ordinary vulture or buzzard. Project Aquiline didn't remain a simple dream on a page. McDonnell Douglas built the hardware, testing at least 5 prototypes. One 1968 CIA briefing noted, "It is small, flies low and slow, having a small visual, acoustic and radar observables, can outfox defences rather than overpower them. Intended as a spy aircraft which could get up very close and personal to enemy facilities, the drone was intended to carry differing payloads including photographic and infrared cameras, as well as eavesdropping technology to listen in to Russian communications. Power would come from a planned 3.5 horsepower engine which had its origins in chainsaw technology driving a prop. However, the CIA planned on leaping forward with the planned introduction of a radioisotope propulsion system.
Radioisotope propulsion system, or a nuclear-powered jet engine. That is insanity. So even in the 70s, they were thinking about how to use nuclear power to go and process these bird planes.
Beginning in 1973. This gave the drone theoretical stats including increased altitude capabilities and a flight endurance of approximately 50 days. Although
I do have lots of questions regarding this, because if the CIA was looking at getting this done forever ago, and all you really need to do to power a lot of these things is just to have a engine moving fast enough, because all engines are is just spinning to make power. That's all. When you think about all the energy sources, everything ever, it's literally just spinning something to make energy happen. That's all it ever is. Engines are the same way. Everything else is the same way. It's just about making something spin to create power. That's all it is. Even for electricity, electric plants. I don't know how solar works, but I feel it's about similar. I think solar might be the only one that doesn't work that same way. But like hydroelectric, the coal, natural gas, the windmills. It's all just spinning parts. And they were thinking about making a radioisotope style engine that would, again, just spin something enough to gain power. And that is insane to me, because, you know, it only takes a little bit to make a bomb go boom. So, like, that is a very dangerous prospect.
Though the heavily redacted documents show that this particular drone concept was dropped, the clear benefits of a small, long-range spy drone able to keep airborne for more than a month and even drop equipment behind enemy lines is simply too attractive, and I'm sure the CIA kept on developing other similar aircraft. There have been some sightings over the years in combat theatres of bird-like drones, with craft discovered as recently as 2011 in Pakistan.
I will tell you right now, we had simple drones back in 2003, 2004, 2005 in the Operation Iraq theater, and us grunts used those drones to deliver small bits of contraband between each of us, but we knew perfectly well that these drones were being used to go and do recon duty, to do various things like that. But these were simple drones. Those were 20 plus years ago. Now you have these drones, these brand new drones that are insane. You're watching them being used right now in the Ukraine theater, and even then, like, it's terrifying. So we are no longer working towards a superiority process of having the best fighter planes. We're not looking at a superiority process of drone technology, and whether it's going to be quality or quantity. Both of them are terrifying.
What are your thoughts on this story? What wild and wonderful drone technology do you think exists within the intelligence networks of the world? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I really would be fascinated to hear them. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Again, that was Geeksvana. He does a lot of drone stuff. Check out his channel. Give yourself a chance. It's over on YouTube, Geeksvana. I believe in always, if I'm gonna cite someone or use their video, I'm going to go and let people know where to go and find them. Give them a like, give them a subscribe, let them know. So, I know I'm not subscribed. Leave me alone. This is my. I watch VTubers on this YouTube profile. I'm not changing that. I'm not doing that today. Okay. I'm not ruining that. I'm enjoying my wonderful VTuber zone channel. All right, so that's that. We did that. There's this. We did that. I mean, like I said, like all this stuff is here. We can go ahead and look at all of it. The CIA has been using birds for a long time now, supposedly, but we just heard about the CIA also looking at tech, and of course we have the ongoing meme of birds aren't real. So let me
For the past few years,
don't autoplay. I really wish you would stop autoplaying. So are the birds real? The birds are probably real. Most of the birds are probably real. Majority of birds are probably real. But people will sit there and go, no, but see, in the 70s we had all these things happening, so obviously the birds aren't real anymore. No, the birds are still real. And the fact of the matter is that the birds aren't real thing didn't really happen in the 70s. In fact, the birds aren't real thing actually comes from about 2017. I think a week or two either before or after Trump's inauguration was when this conspiracy started really blowing up and started happening. And it all happened because of one man's stupid sign, because people are stupid and they see things on the internet and they assume that everything is real on the internet. Never assume everything is real on the internet. I use everything I can to back up my things. I bring up sources, I bring up other things, and I bring government sources. This right here, well, this is a thing called BuzzFeed Unsolved Network. And they have some very blasé conspiracy theories. They're very boring. They're very conservative. It's not very fun. But they always destroy perfectly good conspiracies by just going, see, look, see, and I go, yeah. Then you have to go through everything and try to figure it out from there. So let's look at their little video, shall we?
Years we've seen countless theories flood the internet, and none of them so far-fetched as the one we're covering today. Birds aren't real. You may have heard that phrase mentioned either in earnestness or in jest, but it suggests
we all know the birds aren't real. Joke. We're not gonna say otherwise. I hate this guy. I hate this guy so very much. Just because I don't like his stupid suit. All right, if you're gonna have a suit, you probably shouldn't look like a G-man while trying to tell about conspiracies like a G-man.
just the general idea that, well, birds aren't real, but instead part of an elaborate cover-up.
I also hate the birds aren't real. Cut, birds aren't real. Yeah, we get you.
The theory suggests that the phrase was first used to spread awareness about the genocide of nearly 12 billion birds, and then again when the conservation efforts failed to save them. Since then, the phrase has been used in reference to the belief that...
I hate when people use the word genocide for everything. Alright, a genocide would mean that they're human. Birds aren't human. Xenocide, maybe.
all of the birds have been replaced. The theory contends that the birds once were real, but have since gone extinct after being killed by the, quote, deep state and replaced with surveillance drones.
Of course, with claims as significant as this, one might want to see some evidence, right? Well, according to the movement, there's more than you might think.
The website birdsaren'treal.com shows...
Do not go to this website. This website is glowing. This is glowy bait. I'm sorry. This is glowy bait. Don't go there. Don't do it. Don't do it. This is like people going on tour. Don't do it.
There's evidence to support the theory, including allegedly leaked CIA documents and images that identify significant players in American political history posing near robot bird prototypes.
So there are robot bird prototypes. They were actually released a long time ago. I think over a decade ago. There's YouTube videos about them. Over a decade ago. They had Anderson Cooper did an entire thing about it with CNN over a decade ago. Those are in fact real. Those are not surprises. We know about these things, all right? But the idea that all birds have been wiped out for the CIA is ridiculous. All right, that would completely and utterly undermine the ability of gathering intelligence. CIA would not do that. You have to understand that sounds insane. All right, and the fact that they put this as this insane is why I don't trust BuzzFeed in general.
The website includes a history of the CIA program to kill and replace birds, including anecdotal evidence suggesting of Director of the CIA Alan Dulles. Dulles and his team hated birds with a passion.
I don't believe anyone hates chicken. Chicken is delicious. Chickens are funny. Chickens are wonderful. Everyone loves chicken.
And were heard on many occasions calling them flying slugs and the scum of the skies. The movement, which claims to have been active since 1973, refers to their goal as, quote, once a preventative cause, but, quote, now our movement's prerogative is to make everyone aware.
I don't even know what that means. Like, I've watched this video multiple times. It's just weird. I'm like, listen, man, like all of this seems very unlikely. I don't believe any of these things are actually truthful. All right, I'm sure some people believe these things, but people believe strange things all the time. All right, and I do mean that. People believe weird things all the time. I've seen people break up marriages over Taylor Swift, and I go, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
The website has videos one with footage from what seems to be a Birds Aren't Real campaign in 1987, and another of an interview with a self-described CIA whistleblower named Eugene Price.
That sounds very impressive, but here's where things stop making sense. All right, I grew up with the internet. I love conspiracy theories. I love these things so very much. All right, the very first time I found out the FBI puts out a yearly Bigfoot report made me go crazy. I mean that. That was back in like 2001. I was going nuts. All right, so to find out. So I was already knee deep in these conspiracy theories. The birds aren't real thing. That wasn't a thing in 2001. That wasn't a thing in 2005. It wasn't a thing in 2010. It was not a thing. It was not a thing. No one was talking about this at all.
Of course, if all of this evidence were real and verified, then something should be done. So why hasn't anything been done? Because it's all a joke.
While you won't find it on their website, the creator of the Birds Aren't Real movement doesn't believe the theory himself.
People always surprise me when they're like, no, if this person works for this, obviously they believe in it. No. Some people just want to make money. Some people just want to make money. All right. I'm always skeptical of every single nonprofit I ever run into. I'm skeptical because I've worked for nonprofits, and I've never found a nonprofit that didn't make me feel kind of slimy and disgusting after working for them. I felt less disgusting working for the government than I did working for nonprofits. They are not good people. Like the people at the bottom, the people who the rank and file, they believe in the cause generally, but the people who are up there, no, there's no cause there. They're just there to make a paycheck or to siphon tax-free money. All right, like you're seeing that going on right now in California with the homelessness epidemic. You have all these nonprofits. Now, what did California spend? Like $1 billion on homelessness, and it only got worse. And when they tried to audit it, they're like, "How do you not know where any of your money went to?" Well, it cost us a lot of money. No. So let's talk about this.
Movement's origin can actually be traced back to 2017, not 1973. When in January of that year, Peter McIndoe noticed counter-protesters at one of the women's marches happening in Memphis on the day of Trump's inauguration. According to McIndoe, the counter-protesters, quote, were clear aggravators. They were encroaching on something that was not their event. They had no business being there.
So I don't know how to go and feel about that. I feel counter-protesters have as much of a right to protest as protesters do. All right. I feel like if they're like blocking your path or they're, stuff like that, I get that. I understand that. And it is part of the Capitol Police Force to separate these two different groups. This is a common thing within protesting. It's a common thing you see. This is not new. It's not, I don't know why anyone gets upset about it. This is normal. If I have the right to go and protest, so this is a guy who has the right to go and protest against me. That's the way that it works. It's how it works in America. Get over yourselves.
In response, he wanted to create a totally absurdist sign as commentary to what he was seeing.
The sign he created? Birds aren't real.
When people asked him about the sign, he improvised, stating that it was a movement born from an organization that failed to save bird populations. McIndoe stated, quote, "I was just saying things that were the funniest thing to me at the time." Footage from that day in 2017, when McIndoe stood outside with his "Birds Aren't Real" sign, went viral. From there, it began snowballing. McIndoe started seeing "Birds Aren't Real" graffiti and videos of the phrase being chanted in high school cafeterias.
Yeah, this is actually where it got here. He got himself a good meme going, and the meme just kept going and blowing up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you know what you're doing, you can, as always, when you have that viral moment, capitalize on it. Capitalize, make that money. Make that money. Do not make that money. Make that money. You have that chance. You have that motion. Make that money.
Since then, McIndoe and the Birds Aren't Real team have grown into a full-blown organization, with faux informational videos starring hired actors, a site that documents the fabricated history of the movement, merchandise, and more.
So, like I said, he made some merchandise. He got into a website, began making ad revenue. He then, using the same money whenever things started petering out, would then use that money to go and hire actors, make false claims, put them out there. Like this is not a cover-up process. This is a man who's just trying to make money. It's very simple. It's not a cover-up. Birds are real. Get over yourself.
With time, the satire's lore became more robust and expanded to include the CIA and a drone surveillance program. McIndoe's message was not...
See, the drone surveillance program thing, that turned out to be true. That turned out to be true. Even though this was back in 2017. Although, that might have happened because, again, the unveiling of the Aqualine project was 2019. So maybe they saw that and they capitalized on that release, that FOIA release, to go and prove that it was real. And of course, you can just keep pushing along this. Now, did they stumble upon something that the CIA didn't want them to know? No, they don't. No, they did not. You know how we know that? They're still alive. I'm just saying, like, if you knew things the FBI didn't want you to know, you wouldn't still be there. You know, tough.
Meant to be literal, nor did he plan for it to take off the way that it has. Quote, "It's not like I sat down and thought, I'm going to make a satire. I just thought I should write a sign that has nothing to do with what is going on. An absurdist statement to bring to the equation."
However, this doesn't mean that it hasn't garnered followers, both those who see the messages as McIndoe intended and those who do not.
Adding to this, McIndoe has only given a handful of authentic interviews on the phenomenon of the birds aren't real conspiracy movement. Mostly he remains in character, sticking to a script concerning the deep state. Connor Gatiss, who helps run Birds Aren't Real, has his own theory on the movement's popularity. Quote, "It's an opportunity for, I think, our generation to laugh, to make fun, to kind of be like, look, here's kind of a laundry list of things that haven't come true."
Now, this is of course very funny because there are people very often laugh about, and they'll make slippery slope statements, but every slippery slope fallacy ends up being truthful at the end. Like all the things that they claim will happen is a lie. Like it happened. It always ends up happening. It always ends up happening. All right, that's just the way that rolls. It's very funny that it keeps rolling out that way. So the birds aren't real thing. I'm hoping that this is not a slippery slope thing. I'm assuming this is just someone made an idea. Now they've gone too far with it. They can't pull back. This reminds me of a buddy of mine made a 18+ train panel for an anime con. Why? Because he got drunk and he put in an 18+ train panel for application, and they accepted it, and he's like, well, now I have to do it. And instead of just like making a crappy panel, he made like this ridiculous over the top insane panel that was just a lot of fun to watch. And we will never get to see that again because no one's going to take that panel. No one's going to take that panel. No one will ever take that panel. 18+ train panel, that's insane. That's never going to happen. This is the same kind of thing. You had this absurdist saying happen. It caught fire. He then, of course, capitalized on it, and he stuck to it. And that's how you end up getting this amazing process. And I'm like, yes, this right here is great. My mic peaks occasionally, and when I check my filters, I have a limiter in place. It should not allow that peaking. So I'm not sure what more to do about that. It should be fine. Whatever. No, just start.
Cameron Kasky, who also helps with Birds Aren't Real, speaks from real-life experience with conspiracy theorists. Kasky survived the school shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2008.
Anyway, well, I'm going to go cut it right here. Everything from this point on is about school shooting, and no one really cares. This was the BuzzFeed Unsolved Network. This was made 2 years ago. BuzzFeed was, of course, under dire straits at the time. I don't think that they got a lot of stuff done here. And, of course, you get 3.1K overall likes for a 5.38 million subscribers. I'll give you a hint. They didn't do very well. BuzzFeed I'm not saying that they lie to YouTube and have a bunch of bots on their thing. I'm just saying it's very strange. You have 3.1k likes for a video with 5.38 million subscribers. I do love the comments. I have a pet bird and I think he should be fired by the CIA. He does not do a very good job of spying. His only interest is pumpkin seeds. That's my feeling regarding my bird. Oh God, if Inez sees this, please help me. All right. But I was talking about that there are, in fact, bird drones. They are real things. So let me see if I can pull up the surveillance hummingbird. Here we go. So here's the surveillance hummingbird, right? This is a small bird. It was made over a decade ago. Look, this video is 13 years old. 13 years old, all right? We've known about the drone bird thing for a while now. Now you can hear that it's not a real bird because of the sheer amount of noise it makes. But here, you can go ahead and just watch this real fast.
This is the Nano Hummingbird. It's been in development for 4.5 years, and it was funded by DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
So, bird drones funded by DARPA. DARPA is, of course, it's a pseudo-government entity. DARPA is weird. DARPA is weird. It only works on like government contracts as far as I can tell, but it's supposed to be a private entity, so it's outside of government purview, but it's constantly under government purview. It's a weird freaking thing. DARPA is weird like that. It's kind of like the Fed. So it's same concept there. Like I said, we do have bird drones. They've been around for over a decade. Anderson Cooper did a report on this forever ago. I think he was with CNN at the time, but he did this forever ago. So this is not new information to any of us. Any of us who have a longer memory than a goldfish, we know these things already.
And they fund the kind of extreme R&D projects for U.S. military. And the idea of this, it would be a small covert unmanned surveillance aircraft that could do unique missions flying outdoors as well as indoors. It has a video camera, and the unique part of it is it uses flapping wings for both propulsion and control, and it has the capability of flying in forward flight as well as in hover flight. So it can actually hover in place, it could hover outside of a window, as well as flying in forward flight, going from point A to point B fairly rapidly. With the bird body and the video camera and the transmitter, this flies for up to about 5 minutes, and it has a speed range of up to 11 miles an hour. It can fly sideways, it can rotate on its axis. It actually can fly backwards up to 5 miles an hour, which is very...
So, again, this is much smaller. This is a very tiny drone. At this point in time, we probably have better battery technology and better ability to go and make something this small to go and run properly in this kind of sequence. But what you would do here is you would take the smaller like bird style drones, you would mix them in with the scary quadcopter style drones, and you'd have the quadcopters there to go and scare people around in a way, and then you'd use the little birds in various places and let them sit for a little while, and then you'd spy on things. It's kind of it. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Like this is not new information for any of us who have a longer memory than a goldfish.
Very unique. And it has a range of about 100 yards or so for the communications. There are no immediate uses for the Nano Hummingbird by the military right now. It has a long ways to go. The aircraft will either be a...
So the funny thing about saying that out loud is that at this point in time, we have drones that can send and receive information at stupidly high ability. And with the implementation of even Elon Musk's Starlink, All right, Elon Musk's Starlink can now connect to phones. All right, if you implement that overall technology, or you get copies of that information and that technology, Elon Musk does not believe in patenting his tech because he says no one else is going to be able to go and accomplish it. And my idea on that is, I think the U.S. government can figure out how to use it. They'll figure it out. They'll figure out a way. They'll figure out a way to copy it and then use it for something along these lines. And again, before you talked about the Aqualine that was looking to go and add a nuclear-powered battery or system for propulsion. I could believe there being tiny little robot bird drones out there, much like this little hummingbird drone, probably better designed, that would just go around and just sneak peeks of things, check things out.
A useful surveillance aircraft on its own, or it might be that just the technology, that elements that we've developed for this get integrated into other drones and other aircraft systems. So the use could be any number of directions.
And that was a verified time. Right, time, which I believe is the is that the magazine or is that the newspaper? I don't remember. But verified is the thing. This was a 2000. It says 2011. All right. Super cool thing. Again, we have ourselves a thing. I know, in memoriam of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died apparently. I don't especially care. I know that sounds terrible, but like Jimmy Carter was out of office by the time I was alive, and by the time any president affected my life, I think I was on Clinton. So I was like, okay, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I don't care about Jimmy Carter. It's sad that he died. He looked very old and frail when he voted in the last election. So like, I'm not surprised he's dead. I'm actually surprised he was alive to begin with. Do I have any more? I think I have like one more video to go over. There we go. So this is the newest. This is making the rounds recently, actually, but this video is over a year old. This is the idea of taking dead birds and make them into drones to spy on humans, and this is ridiculous. Okay, we can make synthetic things to go and make things that would mimic birds much better than using dead bird parts. The problem with using dead bird parts, even by using taxidermy, is that you end up having to go and destroy large portions of the bird, and the bird itself is not. It looks fake. It looks off. All right. Well, it won't look off from far away. It looks off. All right. And the second thing I hate about this is this thing uses the same stupid flapping motion that, like, there were these little bird toys forever ago. You would wind them up. They would do the same flapping motion. They could fly for a little while, but then they would plummet to the ground like a rock. They don't look very lifelike. Birds don't look like that unless they are in flight, and even then they don't look like that. Well, from far away, it would be hard to go and tell. I understand the difference here. That's the overall issue. I like how they don't show you the full thing, so you don't see that he's gonna crash and like poof. Anyway, yeah. At the new Phase Weekly? No, this is from last week. Or I guess that would be the new one. Anyway. I believe that's everything there. I believe that's all the information I have for everything right there. There we are. Sweet. We got through it all, guys. We did it. That's the chat box. We did it. We did it, guys. All right. Good for us. That was supposed to be an hour of content, but it took me an hour and a half. Wow, that's a lot of that was a lot of information. Okay. I got nothing else from this point forward, do I? So what I can do is I can probably, what I'll do is I'm going to cut stream here because I want to have this as its own individual VOD. And then I'm going to come back in about 10-15 minutes and no, I think I'll just end it here. This is fine. This is a good spot to end. I can go ahead and just I can go ahead and stop here. It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I got nothing else to really add there. So I'll go ahead and I'll end right there. Tomorrow is, what is tomorrow's schedule? Let me pull up my Twitch here. I'm realizing. There you guys go. That's better. Everyone I love to watch is online currently. Even Tenmo. Tenmo, why are you online? Why are you online? All right, so let's see here. All right, where is my... All right. So my plan is just to get the heck out of here. This has been a decent overall time. You know, what I forgot to do was to check to see when I had ads coming through and stopping for them. But I'm also really, really tired, so that's the way it is. It's an hour and 40 minutes of me just yapping. That took a lot out of me. I'm not used to talking that much, honestly. But that was fun. We'll go ahead and we'll do another one of these next week. I'll probably do a history of a cryptid next week just to go over that. 'Cause that's like, these are the things I like doing. This is what I want to do. I enjoy this stuff. This stuff is fun. So we'll go ahead. We'll do more of this stuff. All right. And if you guys like this stuff, share, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. I am up on Rumble, on Kick, on YouTube, on Twitch. I am everywhere. So I will see you guys tomorrow. What is tomorrow's schedule? Is it Half-Life tomorrow? Let me go to my Twitch channel. I forget what I'm playing tomorrow. I want to go to my Twitch channel. I can hear myself. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, did they change the UI? Where the hell's my... I just want to know what my thing... Why must you make this difficult? Alright, since I don't know what tomorrow's thing is, we'll figure it out tomorrow when we get there. Alright. You guys have yourself a good day. It's been the Katsudon the Squealer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Of course, if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. The VOD on YouTube will probably go down for a little bit because I'm going to do some editing to this. And we'll see how that goes. Have yourself a good one, guys. Bye-bye.